what we're going to talk about today is about parallelism, and this is basically in order to help you improve your style. So one question you might have is, why do it? And the answer is basically it makes it easier to understand when you're presenting ideas in similar form. Readers expect items in a series to appear parallel, and if the form isn't followed, the sentence sounds needlessly awkward. So here's an example of work. We're going to start down at your end. You can just read that.
Mom could not persuade me that giving is as much a joy as to receive.
All right. And you go ahead, Scott.
Mom could not persuade me that giving is as much a joy as receiving.
Okay, so you can see that this is parallel because it's in the same format, right? Giving and receiving. This might seem like a crazy example, but when we get into some real sentences, it'll become more obvious how useful this is. Okay, the first case is when you've got gerunds. So look for that ing form.
Mary likes hiking, swimming, and bicycling.
Okay, keep going.
Mary likes hiking, swimming, and bicycling.
Right, so you can see how that works, and similarly you can use it with to swim, or you can have here where the to is modifying all of it. So with clauses, a parallel structure that begins with a clause needs to keep on with the clause, and changing to another pattern or changing the voice of the verb from active to passive is going to break the parallelism.
Also, with the nearest foundation, have a loss, you have vision, not eat too much, and rules that one exercises.
Right, so you can see a problem there, right? When you get to that last clause, it's different. So here's a solution.
The coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep and that they should not eat too much and that they should do some warm-up exercises before the game.
Or, continue.
Or the coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep, not eat too much, and do some warm-up exercises before the game.
So whether you have that before each clause is going to depend on the situation and whether it seems like it's necessary for the meaning. Okay, so here we've got these abused children.
Abused children commonly exhibit one of the following symptoms: withdrawal, rebelliousness, and they are depressed.
You can see why someone would write a sentence like this, right? You're just brainstorming and you come up with 3 ideas and you're not thinking about presenting them in exactly the same way. That's the typical problem you run into with creating non-parallel sentences. And then the thing to do is just
Abused children commonly exhibit one of the following symptoms: withdrawal, rebelliousness, and depression.
okay. Is there another?
After turning us in the solar sand drove down the middle of the road, ran one red light, and she stopped him.
You know, fix it.
After turning us in the solar sand drove down the middle of the road, ran one red light, and she stopped him.
Are you with me?
Hooked on romance novels, I learned that nothing is more important than being rich, to have a good time, and looking good.
I didn't know you liked romance. And how do you fix it?
Hooked on romance novels, I learned that nothing is more important than being rich, having a good time, and looking good.
Good. All right, in pairs, we can make the connection between paired ideas clearer and emphasize it by putting it in parallel form. So when you see that and, but, and so on, look for that.
Many states are reducing property taxes for homeowners, and renters get tax credits.
Okay. So what you need to look for is a verb that's going to work for you. In this case, it's extending.
Many states are reducing property tax for homeowners and extending tax credits to renters.
At RMC, plagiarism can result in suspension or even being expelled from school.
How would you fix that?
At RMC, plagiarism can result in suspension or expulsion from school.
Great. Okay. So if you have a list after a colon, make sure that everything in the list is in the same format.
The dictionary can be used for these purposes: to find word meanings, pronunciations, correct spellings, and looking up irregular verbs. The dictionary can be used for these purposes: to find word meanings, pronunciations, correct spellings, and irregular verbs.
Repeat function words to clarify what's parallel. In this case, sometimes you have to add in a word just to make sure that it's obvious what you're doing using that or because. And these grammatical signals will basically show what words are following.
Many smokers try switching to a brand they find distasteful or a low tar and nicotine cigarette. Many smokers try switching to a brand they find distasteful or to a low tar and nicotine cigarette.
Adding that to just makes it a little bit clearer. Okay, so this is the wrap-up point, which is basically when you're trying to figure out when do I have a problem with parallelism, skim your paper, pause at words like and or, make sure that what's on either side of the words is done in the same fashion. If you have items in a list, you could try putting them in a column to see if they're presented in parallel form. And once you've listed those items, see if the sound of the words is the same. See if they're all ending in ing, for example. Do you hear a rhythm being repeated? And if there is a break in that, make them all the same as well. And you can do this for your sentences, but you can also do this if you're doing a PowerPoint presentation and you want it to sound more polished. Go ahead and look at all those bullets that you have and make sure that each item in the bullet is begun and introduced the same way. And it's going to give that presentation more polish.